नमस्कार दोस्तों। मैं कृष्ण कुमार गुप्ता, रिटायर्ड साइंटिस्ट सी, सेंट्रल वाटर एंड पावर रिसर्च स्टेशन पुणे से आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। कैसे हैं आप लोग? काफ़ी दिनों से कोरोना का ये संक्रमण काल चल रहा है और अब ऐसा लगने लगा है कि इसके साथ ही हमें आगे बढ़ते रहना है। अनलॉक की प्रक्रिया शुरू हो चुकी है और आपदाओं में अवसर अगर देखा तो आजकल नेशनल वाटर एकेडमी ने भी वर्चुअल ट्रेनिंग कोर्स के माध्यम से अपने प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रमों को जारी रखने का प्रयास किया है। इसी सिलसिले में मैं आपसे कुछ कंडक्ट रूल्स 1964 के बारे में बात करूंगा। पिछले व्याख्यान में मैंने आपको कुछ मिसकंडक्ट्स, कुछ कंडक्ट्स, कुछ करप्शन, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ करप्शन, इन सब के बारे में बताया था और इसी चर्चा को आगे लेते हुए अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं और आपके सामने और मुद्दे रखते हैं कि आपका व्यवहार, आचार सब कैसा होना चाहिए कंडक्ट रूल के हिसाब से। मुथुस्वामी जी का एक पब्लिकेशन होता है, डॉक्टर स्वामी का, और ये बहुत फेमस है। इसमें आपको सारे अपडेटेड कंपाइलेशंस मिल जाते हैं। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं, विटनेस की ही बात को आगे बढ़ाते हैं कि एटिकेट्स ऑफ विटनेस। विटनेस जब हम देने कहीं जाते हैं किसी कमेटी के सामने, पार्लियामेंट के सामने या किसी जुडिशरी केस में, तो अगर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉई विटनेस होता है तो उसको कैसे व्यवहार करना चाहिए, ये सारी चीज़ें हैं। तो गिव रेस्पेक्ट टू चेयरमैन एंड अदर्स ऑफ ए कमेटी बाई बोइंग वाइल एंटरिंग द रूम एंड टेकिंग द सीट। ये सारी चीज़ें अगर आप देखो तो एक सामान्य ज्ञान वाली हैं कि जो हम करते हैं अपने जीवन में शिष्टाचार के नाते। शिष्टाचार का ही पात्र है ये कि कैसे हम जब जाते हैं, जैसे इंटरव्यू में जाते हैं वैसे ही हम विटनेस के लिए जाते हैं, तो बोर्ड के सामने कैसा व्यवहार करें, यही चीज़ें रहती हैं। तो गिव रेस्पेक्ट टू चेयरमैन एंड अदर्स ऑफ ए कमेटी बाई गोइंग वाइल एंटरिंग द रूम एंड टेकिंग द सीट। विदाउट परमिशन यू शुड नेवर टेक द सीट, जस्ट एंटर, से हेलो, एंड unless board or committee member says it, don't please take the seat. Take the seat opposite to chairman. ये प्रोटोकॉल से, this is just like a protocol. Always take the seat which is exactly opposite to the chairman. Speak only when asked. Unless asked, you should not open your mouth. Normally I have seen in one or two cases when people have gone, said hello, good morning and took the seat and then he started speaking. Unless you are asked, you should not start. Answer to chair by standing. And once you take these all formalities you do and you sit, then answer standing only when chairman asks you any question. Speak in polite and courteous language. Same, again very polite and courteous language. You should answer, you should not be rude, you should not talk any insulting language. And when the witness asks to withdraw after evidencing, go again to chair. See, in interview also we do same thing. Once the witness is over, our evidencing is over, and when we take permission to go out, literally we just, may I leave sir, करके ही we go and leave out the thing. The witness should not chew or smoke when he is seated. Whenever you are in the board or when you are in the witness box per, when you are in witness seat, you should never chew chewing gum or smoking. Communication of official information. How official information should be communicated. An official, unless authorized, not to communicate any official document or classified information to any government servant or any person. See, very clearly, unless you are authorized, you are given power or you have been permitted by the office, you cannot communicate, neither you communicate or nor you can give any official document to anybody, either press or any person or other government office, anybody, because it is just like comes under the leakage of data and then it becomes a misconduct. Only officer specially authorized should meet the press and television. This always happens in every office. Very few people are authorized. They only are uh, have power to talk with the press or television. Avoid private correspondence with foreign embassies. Don't do any private communication with any foreign embassy. This is under Rule 11, and further there are GIDs. Another thing comes subscription or raising the funds. Government servant should not ask for any contribution, should not associate with raising of any funds or other collections. Subscription to charitable and benevolent fund is not part of raising funds. See, when you charitable trust or some fund like this, government prime minister fund or other fund, it is there. So that is not a raising fund. This is a privately raising fund. Suppose some private organization is raising fund for some cause. You should not be a part of that. Members of association raising funds for association activities require permission. Suppose you want to do some program through your officer association or something, and you want some sponsorship, then you have to take permission from your office. Collection on Flag Day, National Defense Day, Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund, etc. is permissible. Same way, Prime Minister Relief Fund, everything is permissible under GID 12. Gifts. Lot of time question asked whether we should accept the gift or not. Gifts are not supposed to be accepted by the government servant. So no, GS accept or permit any family members or any persons acting on his behalf any gift. You cannot accept. Legally, you cannot accept any gift from any person with whom you are having official dealing. It doesn't mean you cannot accept the kid from your family members or for your son or from your brother or sister. But official capacity, in official capacity, from other official persons, you cannot accept the gifts. On occasion of wedding, anniversaries, funerals or religious function, when making of gift is a custom, may accept gift. Same. Whatever is customary, you can take in your family functions, other things. If such gifts valued more than certain amount, GS should inform government. Only one rider is here. They have specified some value. If the gifts of some such value are there, you can accept it. But if somebody wants to give you, even family member or somebody wants to give you a gift more than that prescribed value, so you should inform government. I'll show you in the next to this one. Gift include free transport, boarding, lodging or other service or any other pecuniary advantage by any person other than real relative or person friend having no official dealing. So this gift should be with whom you are not having any official dealing, you can accept, personal relatives say. But any official, in your official capacity from any other government official or something, you cannot accept the gift. Under Rule 13, very clearly it has been mentioned. See, this is the whatever I was talking about, the limitation of gift under Rule 13. So, from relatives and friendship having no official dealing on the occasion of wedding anniversaries, Group A officers, they can accept up to 25,000, which was earlier 7,000, and in other occasions, normal condition, it is 1,500. In special condition, it is 25,000. Same way for Group B officer, it is 15,000 in place of old 4,000. But in all other occasion, for any group of services, the amount is same, 1,500. For Group C employees, it is 7,500 against 2,000. And in other occasion, they can accept only up to rupees 500. And in D, it is nil. Of course, now there is no Group D also. So this doesn't have any relevance here. This was earlier, so it has come in the slide. So these are the things. And if you accept gift more than this amount, suppose somebody wants to give you amount which is amounting more than 25,000 for Group A or more than 15,000 for Group B and more than 7,500 for Group C, then you have to inform the government that I am receiving this gift. About dowry. Dowry, it is also a curse in the society. General thumb rule, we should not accept dowry. So do not abet giving of dowry. Neither you take dowry, nor you give dowry, nor you incite others to give the dowry. No demands directly or indirectly. See, it is not that in name of direct dowry only you take. You can ask directly, also indirectly. No, that also you cannot do. Do not receive any complimentary gifts Violation of dowry provision will attract criminal and departmental action. See, so it will not be a civil this one, it will be a criminal offense under Rule 13A, acceptance of dowry or in any other form also. What is dowry? See, normally everybody says dowry, we should know, but what is dowry? That has also been clearly defined in Dowry Prohibition Act 1961. Any property or valuable security given or agreed to be given either directly or indirectly at the time of marriage by one party to a marriage to the other, or by the parents of either party to a marriage to other party or to any person at or before or at any time after the marriage. It does not include dower or meher in case of Muslims. Because particular community case में it has been provision that they accept the meher, and which is called a stridhan, like in our Hindu society. So there is a, they can accept, but we cannot accept any dowry of sort of things, either gift in name of dowry, during marriage, after marriage, or before marriage. No. Public demonstration in honor of government servant. Not to receive complimentary or valedictory address or accept any testimonial or attend a meeting to honor a government servant. Suppose some personal honorization of government servant is there, being held somewhere, you cannot participate in that. Only you can participate in farewell on retirement or transfer. It is because this is the official procedure. Suppose that person somewhere is demonstrating somewhere and you want to go and give their support, your support. No. Not to accept any monetary awards for private parties. Monetary awards also you cannot take from private firms under Rule 14. Private trade or employment. Without permission, one should not engage directly or indirectly any trade or business. Means once you are in government servant and once you are in government service, you should not do any type of trading or business, directly or indirectly. Negotiate or undertake any employment. Even you cannot take any part-time employment or something. Hold an effective office or canvass for a candidate in anybody. Because this is a political activity, so you cannot, elective office also you cannot hold. Means suppose somebody election is happening in some bank or something, private banks, you cannot be a part of that. Canvass for insurance companies. You cannot canvass for insurance companies also. Take part in the promotion or management of any bank. No promos, no promotions in any banks or this one. So government servants are prohibited from this. Participate in sponsored program on media. Suppose there is some media program which is sponsored by some private or other organization, you cannot participate in that. Media commissioned by government but produced by private agency. Even if media is commissioned by government, but if it is produced by private agency, you cannot participate. Participate in any private video. You cannot accept any fee for any work. You cannot accept any fees for any work under Rule 15(1) to 4. Trade and business of family. See, this happens, you are a government servant, your wife may be doing business, your son may be doing business. So, any government servant, if any member of his family is engaged in trade or business or owns or manages an insurance agency or commission agency, even if he is serving in insurance sector, the government sector servant should report to the office in prescribed pro forma, and he should inform office that his so and so family member is doing trading or business, owning or working with insurance agency, whatever. Part-time examinership of examination paper of recognized university is permitted. See, once we said ki privately you cannot do anything, we have given the list what you cannot do, but something is permitted. So just like part-time examinership of examination paper of a recognized university. Suppose you have been as an examiner appointed, of course with permission from office, as a part-time examiner. So you can do evaluation of the paper. Part-time lecturership requires permission. Visiting faculties are there. You are expert in your field and you are invited by some university or college for giving a lecture, guest lecture. For that you can give, but you have to take the permission from your office. Part-time job not permitted. You cannot do any part-time job. Prior permission is required for accepting remuneration from service to cooperative societies. Suppose you are a member, you are living somewhere in that there is a cooperative society and you want remuneration to do that work because it is your residential society or something, you can do but with permission. And that income you have to show in your tax returns. Canvassing support for business or members or family attract conduct rules. See, forget about doing business and trading and all this one, even involving in. Even if you promote the business of your family member also or doing conversing for your family member, that is also not allowed. It is, you will be immediately, it will be treated as a misconduct and legal action will start on you. Appointment as authorized agent of national saving requires permission. So national saving schemes, same, you can be agent authorized but you require a permission. Holding effective office in government servants cooperative societies requires no permission. Whatever government servant cooperative societies हैं, see there are, that's what private societies में cooperative में you cannot participate in any condition, but government cooperative societies में suppose elective post आपको hold करना है, you want to be a member of that, then you have to take permission from the office once you are in a service. Subletting and vacation of government accommodation. See, you know, nowadays being a HRA is very high, so this has become a very rare scene. Otherwise, a common scene was people used to sublet the government accommodation from local people. So accommodation not to sublet without permission of a state manager or department. Suppose you are having a big house, government accommodation, alone or whatever the reason, suppose you are old or whatever the reason, suppose you want to part sublet point. So you cannot unless you take permission from the office. Vacate within time limit when retired. After retirement, there is a time limit when you have to vacate. Suppose you are holding the government accommodation, so you have to vacate. Or cancellation of allotment on transfer. Suppose you are transferred and when your allotment is cancelled, you should immediately vacate the house. Measure penalty if GS violates the rule. See, it is not only on paper. Even if somebody complains that you have subletted and you have not informed office, penalty is, you are liable for a heavy penalty under Rule 15A. Investment, lending and borrowing. Don't speculate in any share, stock or other investment. Government servant is not supposed to do any speculation in share, stock and other investments. Speculation is defined as frequent sale and purchase of shares. So what is, see, you can purchase long time share, you can purchase in the mutual funds which is long time, which you don't get immediate benefit. But frequently selling and purchasing and all these shares, so yeah, this is not allowed. That is a speculation. Today you purchased, it increased by 5 rupees and day after tomorrow or after 3 days, 4 days you sold out, again you purchased at lower rate, and so this thing is not allowed. Permitted occasional investment through authorized agents. Even if you want to invest in some investments through agents, so through authorized agents, it is permitted. No government servant permit his family members or acting on his behalf any investment which is likely to embarrass or influence government service in discharging his official duties. This may happen you are in very good post. So suppose your wife is a LIC agent and you are in very good post and some post where you can take some decisions, make benefit of some particular company. So she can say my husband is there, so please take this. That also she cannot do that. So his family member also cannot take your benefit in their trade due to your official position. No to lend, borrow or deposit money with any person, firm, private company with whom he has official dealings. Wherever your official dealings are there, either it is a private company or firm or this one, you cannot put deposit, neither you can borrow from there, nor you can deposit, nor you can lend money. No to lend money to any person at interest. ब्याज खोरी, सूद खोरी, पहले साहूकार किया करते थे. Government servant is not supposed to do this. So GS may give or accept occasionally small amount of loan temporarily without interest from relative or friend. Sometimes you are in need, you are in difficulty. You have to make arrangement for money, some small money or whatever the amount. So temporary loan you can raise from the friends or relatives, and same way you can give, but not a very big amount of loan. Senior officer not to approach subordinate for standing surety. This happens very clearly. In office to office we stand surety for each other against the loan. So senior officer cannot compel in a way that his assistant should be a security if he is taking loan from officially from some bank or something under Rule 16. Habitual indebtedness, insolvency. Manage private affairs within the means. See, this is the general thing कि जितनी चादर है उतना ही पैर फैलाओ. Whatever resources we have to plan our life accordingly. It is not that we are in some service, government service at some level, and we compare, no, we should lead a life like Ambani or something. So problem will be there. So manage private affairs within the sources. Avoid habitual indebtedness. एंड सो मेनी पीपल हैव गॉट हैबिट, कर्ज मिल रहा है ना, चलो पैसा मिल रहा है, लेते दे पाएंगे नहीं दे पाएंगे बात की बात है, लेट अस टेक द, सो अवॉइड सच हैबिट. डोंट बी इंसॉल्वेंट. एनी लीगल प्रोसीडिंग अगेंस्ट गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट फॉर रिकवरी ऑफ डेट फ्रॉम हिज ड्यूज फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट शुड बी रिपोर्टेड इमीडिएटली. सपोज यू हैव टेकन लोन, यू आर नॉट एबल टू repay that, or you have been guarantor of somebody and that fellow is not paying the loan and your recovery bank wants to start, so they have to take official permission. And any local proceedings, everything is there. So the matter should be brought to the notice of the office immediately under Rule 17. Movable property, share, debenture, security, mutual fund, etc. Any transaction in shares, securities, debentures, mutual funds, either by government servant or in the name of his family member, should be reported, not to get prior permission if the transaction exceeds 2 months basic pay. So when you are exempted from this when you invested money is less than your 10 months basic or equal to your 2 months basic salary. If you you spend more, or if you invest more, then you have to inform to the office in a calendar year. Earlier it was 50,000 for group A and 25,000 for others. Now it is 2 month basic salary. Prior permission is required if the transactions with permissions having official dealing. Suppose you want to purchase shares from some person with whom you are having official dealing, or from a company, purchase one to company with whom you are, then you require a official permission. I am in contact with, we have to be in working contract, but this share, this thing I want to purchase, so you have to take the permission. This is as per notification 9th May 2011. Movable property, rule 18. Payment to cooperative society for purchase or development of land. Purchase of many things from same shop is treated as one transaction. It is called split. When you show, even if you're so many things from same shop, so it will be treated as, suppose your limit, that's what I tell you, limit is there, you can purchase this much or 2 months basic salary. What do? You make a bill of 2 months basic salary, 5 bills. So, but they will be all cumulative. Cash prices exceeding the prescribed monetary limit cannot be accepted by any government. I think subscriptions to chit funds, insurance policies exceeds 10,000 per annum or 1/6 of annual emoluments of the official, whichever is less. That only you can do. As a movable property, you can have that. Then intimate investment within 1 month if the value of property transacted exceeds 2 months basic pay. Same thing. You have to inform him for 2 months. Prior permission is not necessary, but afterwards you have to inform the office. But if it exceeds 2 months, you have to take the prior permission. Movable property, jewelry, motor car, motorcycle and other conveyance, it has to be informed to the government. Radio, television, fridge loan to be informed to government. Intimate transaction within 1 month from the transaction under Rule 18(3). Permission where required is deemed to have been granted if no communication within 30 days from the date of receipt of request. Under Rule 8 and 18(25), it has been said that suppose you ask the permission but your office didn't respond. So if you don't receive any communication within 30 days, it means you have given deemed permission, means there is no problem, you can go ahead with that. Transaction by spouse or other member of the family who are not dependent need not be reported. So any transaction by spouse or other member of the family who are dependent members, maybe your brother, sister, whatever, as per family definition, that need not to be reported as per Rule 18(8). So always think whenever anything, that's what I tell you. Normally government, what happens, we apply and we don't get response. So once you are in government service, please make sure that whatever letter you receive, whatever thing you receive, it has to be acknowledged, and the circle has to be completed. If some permission is to be given, you give the permission if you are in that position. Don't delay it. Otherwise, suppose it for 30 days you don't give the permission, so it will be deemed permitted. Afterwards, even if it is objectionable, you cannot take objection and you will be in suit. Movable and immovable property. All government servants of A and B and C submit within 3 months in the specified form on first appointment a return on assets and liabilities regarding movable and immovable property, inherited or owned by or in the name of family. This includes shares, debentures, bank deposit or similar items. This is very clear when you, in particular for you people, it is very important when you join, as soon as you join the thing, government organization. Within 3 months, you should submit all the details of your movable properties in the office. Further report on every 5 years before 31st March. For movable thing, every 5 years you have to submit. Suppose you gain something, every 5 years you have to update it. All further transactions with prior intimation to authority. Without intimation you cannot do. Previous sanction is required if transaction is with a person who is having official dealings. Employee, any member of his dependent family should not acquire, dispose of immovable property without prior intimation to the authority. Either employee or any member of his dependent family. It may happen that property may be, suppose you have shown that your wife is having property in her name, and suppose she wants to sell it out, still you have to inform office that this is being sold out, or this is prescribed authority, HOD group A and B, HO for others. So for group and AB, it is your head of basically organization, and other thing it is head of office. Joint family transactions in immovable property should also be intimated to government. Suppose you have done some deal in which in registration papers, documents, your name appears as one of the participants. Suppose 3 persons combined purchase the property and you are one of them, then also you should inform to the office, even if you are partly owner of the property. GS transfer, government servant transfer any immovable property to a member of family requires intimation. It may happen that after some time you want to transfer this to your wife or to your daughter or to your son. Under Rule 18.8, you have to inform to the office. Transactions as members of Hindu undivided family do not require government permission. Such action has to be shown in annual property return. See, in your APR column, APR column is there, what property, annual property you are having. So in property return, you have to show every time Hindu undivided family, you don't require government permissions. Prior intimation is required before starting construction of a house. On completion of house, again submit report. Under Rule 18.4, it is very clear. Suppose you have land, you want to start construction. So before construction of house, you start the inform the government, and then again once it is completed, you submit the report of that also. Bidding by government servant prohibited where auction is arranged by his own office. Very clear. You may be seeing that normally in all auctions, executive engineer, assistant executive engineer, civil, they are the auctioning authority. So they cannot participate and they cannot bid directly or indirectly in any way. For repairs of house over 10,000, section is needed. Suppose you want to do repair of your house, if it is more than 10,000, you have to inform to the government. If the permission is not conveyed within 30 days, it should be deemed to have sanctioned. Again, Rule 8, under Rule 18, Rule 8 says ki if permission is not suppose your office did not communicate back that it is sanctioned, it is deemed sanctioned. You can go ahead with that. So always be careful. Again and again I am telling you, whatever paper comes to you, dispose it of as early as possible without delay. Immovable property return, Rule 18.1. All Group A, B and C, including erstwhile Group D officers, as per OM 5th January 2016, they have to submit immovable property return. Annual return before 31st January, earlier it was March, period up to 31st December of previous years. Now, this is always there is a property holding or immovable property holding up to 31st January. You have to submit return before 31st January, whatever is holding on as on 31st December of the previous year. Full particulars, inherited, owned, acquired, held by them, lease, mortgage in name or family members or any other person. Of course, that property return is having his own column. All columns are there that you have to give full detail. In no change during the year, the property holdings, it is sufficient to indicate in property return no change. So suppose you did not, neither you purchase nor you sold out whatever you are having. So simply no change you can submit. Make an entry in the APAR about submission of annual return. See, that's what I tell you. APAR, there is a column. So make entry like this. If a GS is a member of Hindu undivided family with co-personary right in the property of the family, either as a karta or as a member, he should indicate in IPR the value of his share, if value not known, approximate value. So even if suppose पुश्तैनी संपत्ति में पैतृक संपत्ति है उसमें भी अगर आपके पास है तो अगर आपका उसमें कुछ पार्ट है सपोज फादर्स प्रॉपर्टी उसमें 3 ब्रदर्स शेयर सो 1 शेयर दैट यू हैव टू इन्फॉर्म if you are a government servant. All transactions, both movable and immovable, made out of the funds of government servant should be reported, irrespective of the person in whose name it is. Suppose you fund the transaction of immovable or movable property for your son or for your daughter or for dependent and for your wife, they should be reported to the government. Transaction by the spouse or any other member of family out of his or funds need not report. But this is reverse. See, you are a government servant. Suppose you have you are transferring taking a fund. Suppose she wants to purchase car, you are using the fund, then you have to inform. But whatever the transaction your spouse does or any member out of his fund or her fund, that need not to be reported. If government servant transfer any immovable property exceeding the limit in the name of any family member, should report or obtain sanction. Again, any immovable property or movable property if you are transferring, so take the sanction. Transaction as member of Hindu undivided family do not require government permission. So unless you as a Hindu undivided family act, then you need not to be there. But in such case, transaction should include in IPR. You have to show in the IPR. Immovable property return of government grade A officers on website. IPR submitted by group A officer should be put in website every year as per DOPT-OM 11th April 2011 and 23rd September 2013. This is a must. So you will be seeing that immovable property return of all group A officers are available on website of the office and they have to be updated every year. This is the duty of the office. Transaction with foreigners. Transaction in immovable property abroad and with foreigners should get prior permission of government under Rule 18A. Suppose you want to purchase some property in Dubai or some in America or somewhere, whatever you want, foreign country, still the permission from government is needed. And that will go, permission will be granted by your ministry, I mean government of India, not by your head office or office. There are some rules are also there. Vindication of acts and character of government servant, recourse against allegation in media. Suppose it comes, it should not be. No government servant except with previous sanction have recourse to any court or vindication of any official act. You cannot take part in any activities like this. Rule 20 says conveying of non-official or other outside influence. No government servant shall bring or attempt to bring any political or outside influence in the matter. Even if it is your own matter in the office, you cannot bring political pressure. Suppose your promotion is not happening, so you are writing to minister will write to your office. Then of course, forget about your promotion. Disciplinary inquiry will initiate against you. So take care. No political pressurizing by government servant in their official capacity. Rule 21 says, restriction regarding marriage. Do not enter into or contract a marriage with a person having a spouse living unless permitted by the personal law. Because Muslim personal law mein there are multi-marriages involved, but not in Hindu this one. So if you are married, don't enter into any illegal or illegal marriage or any type of contract of a marriage if your spouse is living. Rule 22 says consumption of intoxicating drinks and drugs. It is not allowed. Naturally, how in office mein and everywhere how you can take. So it is not allowed. Rule 22A prohibits regarding employment of children below 14 years of age. Same. Child labor. You cannot hire. So don't employ any children who are below 14 years of age for good work. See, You do this, this will happen. You do this, this will happen. If you misconduct, you will be punished. If you do violate the rule, this will be there. So हम कहते हैं ना कि जब अच्छा काम करें तो पीठ पे एक शाबाशी भी चाहिए. The government system has provision for that also. For good work, appreciation through annual performance appraisal report. Your APAR is the reflection of your work. So dear friends, never hesitate to write real APAR, not biased. Suppose he is very good sycophant, he does always yes sir to you and you write very good. The person who does very good work and he doesn't say hello to you and you don't write. So write it that appreciation should come, reflect in the annual performance report. Generally, issue of separate letter of appreciation to place in APAR is discouraged. So whatever you have to write, you write in APAR only, because column is there, sufficient space is there. You can, for your justification. Suppose you want to give somebody extraordinary, what we call it in APAR, +8. You can always give and you can give there itself. No separate letter is required. He has done very good job, so he should be promoted like this. All recommendation, every column is there. You can have that. The following appreciation letters will be placed in APAR dossier. Yes, it is your interdepartmental between boss and subordinate. But suppose your subordinate has done which excellent work and he has got some certificate for outstanding work from other side, other HOD or secretary or government of India, that can be added to that as a proof, as a certificate, as we add certificate in our application forms while applying for the job and etc. Same way APR के साथ ही अप्लाई लगाया जा सकता है, अटैच किया जा सकता है, बट नॉट फ्रॉम, ऐसा नहीं कि बॉस ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया करके लेटर दिया एंड दैट यू अटैच विद योर APR. नो, issued by special bodies or commissions or committees appreciating employees by name. Suppose you are doing very good job on some project, being a government servant, suppose you are CWC working somewhere and some project, that projects give some appreciation letter to a employee, then that can be added to the APAR. It will have its own mark, it will have its value. Once it is called, once you get a pat on the back for the good work, so bad work also should be clearly mentioned. How bad work? When suppose your assistant is there, he is not listening, whatever you say he is not improving, warning in writing. Then you have to warn him in the writing, reprimand or admonish. And to be kept in personal file and not in APAR. APAR में आप नहीं लगा सकते, इसको एक पर्सनल फाइल में अलग जाता है लेटर्स. सो वार्निंग एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स इशूड, क्योंकि APAR में आप डायरेक्ट एंट्री कर भी नहीं सकते हैं. सपोज समबडी वन डे डिडंट डू द वर्क एंड यू कैन नॉट राइट इन APAR ही इज अ वेरी lazy and he avoids the work. He should be given chance of improvement. Still he doesn't do it. Then you start doing all the things and prepare the case, just like issuing the warning letters, then reprimand by something, adverse entry in the APAR. Then you can do entry in the APAR. Not in the first he committed some mistake knowingly or unknowingly, even knowingly also. So you cannot have adverse remark in the APAR. Always writing APAR very clearly, their instructions are there, you use it. APAR is not for killing somebody or just always bad remarking somebody. It is why it is given even as a bad remark in APAR, to give the chance of subordinate to improve. But once he has decided he will not improve, then you can take actions, adverse entry in APAR. And even if he doesn't improve with that APAR entry also, then you can suspend or disciplinary action you can take. You can give financial punishment like stopping of increment and all these things you can recommend. Same things with your boss also. They also can do for you if you behave in any of such manner. Why Babus fare badly in India? See, this is very famous कि यहाँ तो बाबू राज है, पार्टियों चले जाओ, हमको सबको अनुभव आया है, इनकम टैक्स चले जाओ, तो वैसे ही बाबू राज चल रहा है. वट एवर दे से दैट इज अ रूल, गवर्नमेंट रूल्स का कोई वैल्यू नहीं होता है. उसका रीज़न इसीलिए है कि वाई दिस इज द थिंग, क्योंकि देयर इज नो अकाउंटेबिलिटी. अकाउंटेबिलिटी हैज़ टू बी फिक्स्ड वेरी स्पेसिफिकली एंड पर्सन स्पेसिफिक. इनएडुकेट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वी हैव, इनएडुकेट स्ट्रक्चर, करप्शन, ये तो हमारे ब्लड में आ गया है समहाउ. Of course, this is not a very great thing to boost, but it is shameful act. If we do it and we just, it is चलता है, ये तो part है life का. We have accepted literally corruption as a part of life. Very bad part. सिग्नल तोड़ना तो हमारा जन्मसिद्ध अधिकार है, और ज़्यादा पकड़ा तो क्या है, 50 रुपये 100 रुपये पुलिस वाले को दिए, निकल गए. ऐसे नहीं होता है. So never do it. That's what our system is failing. And ultimate, what we say, system is not good. Who is system? We are the system. Burdening and unpredictable tax. Of course, you see the taxation in India nowadays. Of course, it is being relaxed slowly, but this also gives rise to the corruption and other things. Worst performance of bureaucracy in Asia, if you see, and then you see India is on top with 9.27 scale. This source is Political and Economic Risk Consultancy Limited, Hong Kong, Mumbai Mirror, 2012. Of course, this is a little bit old. I don't know what is the real position, but today also we will be topping somewhere in doing badly. Because corruption level is very high here. For everything there is a thing. कुछ भी करना है तो घूस देना है, ये एक विचित्र सी विडंबना हो गई है. For government servants, I will give you now some very little this one. Do's and don'ts: maintain integrity, devotion to duty, do nothing unbecoming of government servant, superior, ensure integrity and devotion from subordinates. Whatever I have just told you in the last, observe policies and programs of government, inform, arrest, conviction by court. One thing is there, suppose you are arrested by in some crime by somebody and you are in 48 hours behind bars, you will be suspended immediately and disciplinary. So if such thing happens, you have to inform the office. You behave impartially, unbiased, observe courtesy to public, observe office decorum during including lunch hour. See, lot of people say, ठीक है अभी तो lunch का hour है, हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. You are in office right from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 10 to 5 p.m. Even in lunch hour, you have to behave properly in maintaining the decorum of the office. Furnish information of close relatives of foreign origin or residing abroad. Don't hide anything from government. Avoid habitual indebtedness, insolvency, whatever was told. Vacate government accommodation in due time. Abide by law. Observe punctuality. Communicate information to information seekers under RTI. That is also your job. In RTI lecture, I had told this has been valid. So you cannot hide information, or you cannot just prolong the process. Political neutrality. And what you don't, government servant, adopt dilatory tactics. Do not indulge in acts unbecoming of government servant. Willful delay in disposal of work. Representation joining. Play cards during lunchtime or lunch. Lot of offices, the people, they play cards or do the things that is not allowed. Use official position for personal or family gains. Give contracts to company where a family member is a stakeholder. Means any type of favor to the person particular with vested interest. Get associated with any political party. Don't involve in sexual harassment of women. Don't receive or give dowry. Don't accept any gift, awards, monetary gains from public or trust. Don't speculate in shares and stock. Don't practice untouchability. Yes, that is another weaker section. You have to be very courteous and very polite to the weaker section of this one, and don't do caste and creed differentiation. No. Avoid oral communication. Give instruction in writing associated with banned organization. Don't associate yourself. Don't join illegal strike. Don't employ children below 14. Don't invite foreign diplomat to stay with you. Don't bid on auction arranged by your own office. Don't approach subordinate to stand in surety. Now there are some other parts also where you require, suppose government servants want to take part in activities, then it requires the prior permission. Join education institute or course of studies for university degree. Even outside of office hours. You have to apply properly. You have to take permission from doing higher qualification. Government permits, but you have to follow all the formalities. Join civil defense service and territorial army. Yes, you can join, but with the permission. Joining foreign language class conducted by Indo-Foreign Cultural Organizations. You can join, but with permission, of course. Acquiring disposal of immovable properties if transaction with a person having official dealing with GS. Sometimes it happens that we have the dealing. Suppose I want to purchase flat. Some of my friend is selling the flat literally with whose office I am in the dealing, in working dealing. So it is not that you cannot purchase, but you have to take the permission from office. Accepting gifts, to enroll as a member of St. John Ambulance Brigade Territorial Army, because this is social work, so you can accept, but with permission. Owing or editing any newspaper, same any editor or this one, you require a permission. Accepting remuneration for the work of cooperative societies, this also requires permission. Participation in competitions, social events organized by private agencies. If you want to participate, you can, but you require you require office permission. For sale of car, scooter purchased through government loans. Suppose you want to dispose of your vehicle which you have taken on the government loan, you have to take permission. Canvassing, contesting election, not allowed. Basically, it is not allowed at all. Even if you apply, I think even if you apply for this one, you cannot. Conducting any transaction with foreigners, it requires permission in any form, either purchase of property or other things. For visit abroad also, you requires permission. Making any transaction of property abroad, according part-time lecturership, engage directly and indirectly in trade, accept international awards, to accept membership of book clubs run by foreign agencies, to give evidence with any inquiry conducted by any person, accept employment after retirement, group A within 1 year. See, it is a group A officer within 1 year cannot take sub appointment, but if they want to join, take some employment, they have to take permission within a year. Undertake any medical practice even in trust hospital. Accept any fee for private work. It requires permission. Accept any gift from relatives personal. If limit crosses, you have to take permission. Time limit to give permission, 30 days to 3 months. Activities required, no permission. Now this is the list where you don't require any permission. To seek redressal in the court of law relating to his employment and condition of service after departmental remedy exhaust. सपोज इनजस्टिस होता है, हमारे ऊपर भी होता है, हम भी कोर्ट जाते हैं, आप लोग भी जाते हैं, जाने पड़ते हैं, कैट है हमारे पास, ट्रिब्यूनल है हमारा। तो अगर हमें ऑफिस से जस्टिस नहीं मिलता है और हम सारे सोर्स एग्जॉस्ट कर लेते हैं, देन नो परमिशन इज रिक्वायर्ड फ्रॉम ऑफिस एंड यू कैन एंटर इन द कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ। टू पार्टिसिपेट ड्यूरिंग स्पेयर टाइम इन श्रमदान ऑर्गेनाइज बाय गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट और भारत सेवा समाज, मतलब गवर्नमेंट स्पॉन्सर्ड अगर श्रमदान स्कीम है, यू कैन पार्टिसिपेट इन दैट। टू बिकम मेंबर ऑफ संयुक्त समाचार समिति, टू पब्लिश a book himself or through a publisher in the bona fide discharge of his duties. You don't require permission. Submit memoranda before pay commission. You don't require permission. Participate Flag Day celebration on a voluntary basis. Participate in fundraising efforts of National Foundation for Communal Harmony. Undertake occasion work of literacy, artistic or scientific character. If it is there, you don't require any permission. Undertake honorary work of social or charitable nature, to give evidence on behalf of association, to make personal contribution to Jawaharlal Nehru Mutual Fund, to join moral rearmament movement. NOC is not must for passport, mere intimation is sufficient. Suppose you apply for the passport, you apply it, but you give intimation to office. Participate in sports activities as an amateur. Suppose you participate as a sports activity as an amateur player, then permission is not required. Take part in the registration, promotion or management. Not holding any elective office of a literary, scientific and charitable society or club under similar organization or a cooperative society for the benefit of government servant. If it is there, you can join, but and permission is also not required. Misconduct attracts disciplinary action. Now see, we have learned a lot about whatever we should do, don'ts, what we can do, where permission requires, where permission not required. Now I'll give you some points where misconducts, that's what I tell you, it is not paper पे चलता है. If you are caught, actions can be taken, and how it will be there, in which cases it is there, you see that. Failure to inform superior about his arrest or conviction. Suppose you are arrested, you didn't inform, action can be taken on you, rather it is taken on you. Neglecting family, if the matter is subjudiced, no action is taken. Family matter, if the family dispute is there and you are just neglecting your family, there can be misconduct. Participating untouchability, again caste creed basis of discrimination. Playing cards in lawns and other things. Demonstration, gherav, strike, introducing others to do so. Giving, taking, abetting dowry. Act prejudicial to reputation or interest of master. Acts conduct incompatible with peaceful discharge of duties. Misconduct by which it is unsafe to keep in service. Act is so grossly immoral that the employees cannot be trusted. Act of unfaithful service and cannot rely on him. Abusing or disturbing peace in the place of work. Insulting and insubordination, disturbing the relationship of master and servant. Habitual negligence of duties. Negligence causing serious consequences. These are things attracts the departmental inquiries and ultimately punishment, acts of infidelity, unfaithfulness, dishonesty, habitual late attendance, conviction by court of law, sexual harassment of women employee, associating with political parties, membership of banned organization, acting in discourteous manner, unauthorized communication, criticizing the government policies and program, making joint representation. See, this is very important. Lot of people really they don't know the things. अभी कुछ 15-20 लोगों का केस है, हमें लिखना है, चलो एक ने लिखा और एक पेपर पे ही साइन करके भेज दिए. This will immediately attract the disciplinary action on you. No joint representation should be done by government servant. It should all, even if matter is same, draft is same, everything is same, problem is same, you have to individually write a letter. Gross moral misconduct, righteous and disorderly behavior in office. These are the things where misconduct attracts the disciplinary action. And when action occurs, what will happen ultimately? Disciplinary inquiry will take place. If you are found guilty, penalty will be levied. So while minor penalties are censure, you are just temporary, that charge is taken from you, given to other, or you are withholding of promotion. If it is another serious, this is also your promotion can be withheld. Recovery from pay or any loss to government. Reduction to lower stage for a period not exceeding 3 years, and without cumulative effect. Means worst case mein, suppose you are very much doing nonsense in the office, even your increment can be stopped for 3 years. Or you can reduce to the stage up to 3 years. Means you will be basically degraded 3 years before pay scale. Inquiry is not mandatory. See, minor penalty. Second part is minor penalty. Mein inquiry is not mandatory. If it is proved by some proof, these things can be levied. Inquiry is required if penalty is proposed to withhold increment for exceeding 3 years. Suppose you are not improving at all. We have tried our lot. Superior has given all the opportunities, but still subordinate is not ready to improve. Then 3 years he can withhold the increment. But for that your inquiry is required. Inquiry is required if to withhold increment cumulative effects from any period. Normally it is non-cumulative, but suppose you want to withheld for cumulative effect, it will be through departmental inquiry, it will be there under Rule 1114. What are the major penalties? See, these were the minor penalties कि ठीक है चार्ज ले लिया, दूसरे को दे दिया, ट्रांसफर कर दिया, ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया तो. But major penalties are reduction to lower stage in the time scale of pay exceeding 3 years and with cumulative effect. This becomes a major penalty. See, within 3 years and without cumulative effect, it is a minor penalty. But if you are found, your criminal procedure and departmental inquiry that you have literally committed a crime of such nature, with cumulative and 3 years exceeding also it can be given. Reduction to lower time scale grade post or service. Even your pay scale can be reduced, even your post can be reduced. You can be reverted to lower post. Compulsory retirement. That is also an option. We can say Ram Ram, now you can go, please. Removal from services. You can be removed from services. Dismissal from services. So, but here under Rule 11, inquiry is mandatory. So major penalties can be levied when all major penalties can be levied only after departmental inquiry. But in minor penalties, transfer and taking charge and just this one minor penalties need not to be but stopping of increment and all these things, they require the committee recommendation. Breach of conduct, possession of disproportionate assets. Same again, conduct means actually a good conduct. So breach of good conduct क्या होगा कि आपके पास सैलरी तो इतनी सी है, प्रॉपर्टी इतनी है. So if your property and assets are disproportionate to your income, this is possession of this is a breach of conduct. Obtaining or attempting to obtain illegal gratification, this is also a breach of conduct. Misappropriation of government property, money or stores. Obtaining or attempting to obtain any valuable things or pecuniary advantage without consideration or for a consideration which is not adequate. This all falls under breach of conduct. Falsification of government records. If you tamper with the government papers and changes here and there. Gross negligence or irregularity with dishonest motive. See, a negligence can be without intention or by mistake, but with dishonest motive, if you neglect something, suppose a rule is written, things are written, and you want to separate out something without telling, this is not advisable. So it's a breach of conduct. Misuse of official position, certainly. Disclosure of secret confidential information. False claim of TALTC medical. This is a very clear rule under Rule 2 CCA rules, that false claims of TA and TLC and medical. A lot of people were earlier, you may be knowing that when private buses and all these things were there, people used to take the false claims just by taking receipts and paying some money to the company. So now that has been stopped. That's what day by day government is becoming. If you are gone by plane also, still you have to submit your boarding card, not merely a ticket. Same thing, LTC, medical also bills, false medical bills. If you are found, you will be punished. So that's all, my friends. Bapuji Mahatma Gandhi had said, I will not let anyone walk through my mind with their dirty feet. Civil disobedience becomes a sacred duty when the state has become lawless or corrupt. Once you become corrupt, literally your country goes to the dogs. And a citizen who batters with such a state shares in its corruption and lawlessness. And that citizen is a corrupt citizen who is involved on these practices. So please don't do corruption. Again, you have joined government services, lot of prospects are there. ठीक है, slow है, I can understand situation पर. But in any way, you should not adopt the corrupt practices. This is just like दीमक खा जाती है, ऐसे देश को खा रही है. So, friends, I think now for newcomers, basically who don't know much rules and regulation and who take the things lightly, it is not that they want to take, but they don't know. So ignorance of rule, what do I say? So for them, this will be very useful information, and everybody will good energy, good faith. Same 5 things of the conduct rules: integrity, honesty, punctuality, and professional capability. You will go ahead in your service and you will reach to the zenith. With best wishes, thank you very much.